Hi, this is Joe Harnick. This is Raven Alert. There's so much in the press today about the Socialist and the Democratic Party that is misinformation and not based on any fact. It's just emotion. I thought I'd step in and do a little alert on socialism since I've written a book on it. And you check into my site, ravengeopolnews.com, the difference between socialism and capitalism. It's right there for everybody to read. And let me go over it a little bit. First off, there's a guiding question for all economists when they look at a society, and that's how do you organize a society so that it maximizes the benefit of the society as well as the individual, but the individual doesn't get hurt. Uh, and there's two basic forms. One is capitalism, and the other is socialism. Now, this country chose capitalism from the founders on to this current day, and it's done all right for itself. It's the best country in the world. It's the best place to live. It's proof as people try to break down walls to get in. Uh, they know that they're better off here than in their native countries, which generally are socialist. Uh, so let's look at both capitalism and socialism, and where capitalism has private ownership of property and free will to use that property any way they like. If they have a wheelbarrow, they can rent it out, or they can use it themselves and help their yard. Okay. If it's socialism, it's the state ownership, where the state owns the property, the means of production, and they make all the decisions associated with it. Let's go back. The terms change with time. So uh, back in 1900, a liberal is what we would call today a libertarian, and all the founding fathers were libertarians, every one of them. Uh, and we'll go to see what that means. A progressive in 1900 changed to liberal, the term liberal, in the 30s and 40s and 50s, and is now becoming, they're changing the name again to socialist. And they don't even know what it means. So, or they're redefining it as they go. Okay, so let's see what those terms mean. First off, a libertarian. I said all the founders were libertarian. Uh, they believed in law. They believed in a constitution. And they believed that the the government had to have limits, otherwise it would grow too big and too dictatorial. And they wanted to put the limits in the law based in the Constitution. Uh, Americans believe that ownership of property is correct, and as such, they're capitalist. Uh, Libertarians believe in owning in government, owning property. Libertarians believe in owning property and the ability to use that property to create their own personal wealth, and the freedom in which they have the power, if they own a piece of land, to determine what's planted, how much is planted, what price to charge for the goods when it grows up. Okay, let's look at the basis of socialism. In 1860, around 1860, 1850 to 60, Karl Marx wrote Das Kapital. And in this, he proposed a second order of, this was the era where capitalists were running rampant over society. And they said, no, there's a better way. Let's have state ownership, all means of production, not public ownership, not private ownership. And so what he proposes a system where uh, the government owned all means of production and made all decisions on the means of production, what was produced, how much was produced, what price was set. And his theory has two fundamental flaws. And these are basic flaws that says socialism will always fail. One, it doesn't take into consideration man's basic nature of self-interest. When a baby's born, he cries because he's cold, he wants to be warmed up, or he's hungry. The point is, self-interest is built into all of us. It's not going to change. So when you say If I can produce twice as much as this man over here, why should I get the same pay as this man over here if I can produce twice as much? It's not fair. So the self-interest, which is built into the individual, is excluded from socialism. The second thing that's excluded, which is very fundamental to it, is pricing. If in fact I'm a government employee and I have control of this big manufacturing plant, which was formerly General Motors, should I build Rolls Royces, Cadillacs, or Datsuns? And what prices should I put? There's no way to determine that because we don't have a general public and the people. And the pricing helps the process of individuals, millions of individuals, making decisions as to what is the best for them as society as a whole. The two lacking self-interest and no pricing means socialism is going to fail. They tried it in Russia. It failed. And Germany looked at it, saw what the problem was, and says, yeah, it'll never work. So what they did is they created a new type of socialism, which they call German social democratic socialism. And they're using this today. And what it is this: the government doesn't own it. As individuals still own all, or corporations own all the means of production. They build airplanes, they create farms for corn and what have you. They do everything. They hire, they fire, they determine what prices should be set. But then at the end of the year, the government steps in and says, we control profits. Okay, you control all the production, maximize it. We'll do everything to encourage you to maximize it. Tell me what you need, I'll get it for you. But you maximize the profits, and at the end of the year, the profits are distributed by me, the big government. Okay, I determine next year how much goes back into capital, how many people you be hiring, how much profits you distribute for yourself, and how much profits you distribute to your stockholders. I make that determination. The public ownership of profits is an interesting concept. A aberration or distortion of that is through what Sanders comes out with, and I call his form, which the Democratic Party is beginning to, is how to get reelected or how to get elected socialism. Because all they do, if you look at what they're doing, they're promising things in the hopes of getting votes. Uh, you don't like your school debt? I'll make it. I'll write it off. Okay. You don't like the fact that you're not working? I'll guarantee you an annual income. You don't like the fact you can't afford to get you can't afford medical insurance? I'll give you free medical insurance. Anything to get your vote. So far, it's reasonably successful, such that it may come in, and then what happens is if that happens, and those people get into office and they know nothing about running anything, even a candy store, we're going to have chaos. It's just inevitable. These people are so incompetent that we're just going to have chaos. And thank God Trump won. He's a capitalist. He believes in private property. He believes in running a business. He believes in running this country as a country, which in the best interest of America. In other words, America should be first. He wants to win, and there's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, with that, I'll leave it for today, and I'll come back and revisit this later with other aspects of socialism.